Hey team, good morning. Hope you all had a great weekend. Happy Monday to you. Hope your week is getting off to a fabulous start. I wanted to pick up on our conversation from last week around conversational intelligence. This is an important book that I think gives us some foundational ideas around our communication, the way that we have conversations with each other, outside stakeholders, even our family, loved ones, etc. So, last week we talked about that dashboard of moving from skepticism, kind of having the ask-tell kinds of conversations, to more of those sharing discovery where it requires high levels of trust. And how do we begin to do that? So this week I'd like to pick up on that. And if you want to read this on your own, it's pages 33 through 57. I'd really encourage everyone to give that a quick read. Give that some thought. We'll talk about it at Thursday's team meeting. But picking up on the idea from last week, there's what they call the ladder of conclusion. And this is something that happens in every interaction that we have with people, even at a subconscious level. And what it is it's a spiral. You can find it on page 41. But it starts with biological responses, right? We have a physiological response to people's facial expressions, their body language, their vocal tone, right? Are they yelling at you or are they whispering to you? They indicate different emotional states that we respond to biologically. And then oddly, we often think that we are then thinking about that conversation, but we're not. We actually feel it first, then we develop thoughts, then we develop beliefs, and then ultimately we develop conclusions. And so there's what they call the faux labeling. And this is something that happens to us whether we recognize it or not. So I want you to think about a conversation with someone, whether it was someone in a store, a customer service person on the phone, or someone that you've met or interacted with, where the conversation didn't go right or well. And you had an adverse reaction to the way that they talked to you, or the tone of voice that they used, or the kinds of things that they were trying to think, right? So you had this bad experience. Your brain unconsciously labels that person as a foe. So the next time you enter that interaction, you actually see them as a threat. Now, it doesn't mean that you don't talk to them, doesn't mean that you avoid them, but you want to. Your emotional state is there. Have you ever dealt with an affiliate or a customer or someone in your sphere of work that you want to avoid? Well, think about what your communication is like with that person. Oftentimes it's not great. So this is an opportunity to learn some starters, and I'll send some forums out for you all to be able to take a look at that are basically prompts. What are some things that you can say that will create more positive interactions in your conversation and carry them from I conversations to we conversations? Oftentimes we go into a conversation thinking, what do I need from this conversation, rather than what do we need to get from this conversation? Ultimately, I'll get what I need, but what does that other person need in order to build trust? So that's what we're aiming for. That's what I'd like us to think about this week. And I look forward to talking to you all later on this week. Take care. Bye-bye.